Matthew 27:46. My God, why have you forsaken me? When I think about this verse, I picture Jesus tired and ready to give in. Many may think that Jesus, being the all-powerful and being the Son of God, they may think that he had the strength and he was strong enough to take it. But he was weary and suffering, and while he suffered, he muttered these words. Jesus was probably overwhelmed with what we had done to him. And there was a point in time that scientists think that while Jesus was getting all our sin, he may have had a disconnection with God because Jesus practically was sin. Jesus then doubted God and asked God why he had forsaken him, because Jesus was human. God understood though, just like he can understand our doubts and our pain sometimes, and he forgives us because it's hard, especially now that we live in these times. Now with what I have gone through, I can relate with Jesus. Not that I have ever gone through something as painful as Jesus did, but I have experienced the pain of loss and doubt and questioning. Not physical pain, but emotional pain. I was barely 13 when my father was deported, but before that, I was a happy child. I had a happy life with both my parents and siblings, and my parents were both pastoring the church while I was in my first year of middle school. And believe it or not, I was actually social. But that quickly changed. March 3rd will forever mark my life. My dad was my friend, and he was the best. I looked up to him and wanted to be like him, honest and loving. He was a mentor that you could trust. And I'm not saying that he isn't anymore, because he still is, but it's hard when he's not physically here. Why did they deport him? Why did I have to see my dad at the other end of a glass when he was in jail at the age of only 13? When just days ago he was at home laughing and spending time with us. Why couldn't my mom, my siblings, and I touch him? My thoughts were just, get him out of there. He's not a criminal. He didn't do anything wrong. He just wanted a better life. Was that such a bad crime? I definitely thought God was punishing us, but I didn't know why. But I still prayed for a miracle and for my dad to be back home. Weeks later, they deported him, and now it wasn't just a glass separating us. It was borders and thousands of miles that were between us. A year passed, and I still thought we could bring him back. I got closer to God and tried to be hopeful, but then suddenly I gave up. I went into this dark depression. I didn't talk to anybody about what I felt because it was too much, and every time I talked to my dad through the phone, I had no connection with him. Since he wasn't here, I didn't know what to talk to him about. I went to therapy for a year and it helped, but I still had that emptiness. I felt as if God had completely ignored my prayers. 3 years later, and here I am, he's still not here. But I know that whatever God has planned for my life and my family's life, it's good. I trust in him that it will be good. Now, if you would have asked me a few months ago what the hardest thing I've gone through is, I would have replied that it was having my dad Max deported. But that changed. You see, I had a best friend named Teresa. She was a sister to me, but she was the complete opposite of me. She was loud and wild and funny, but she was beautiful and compassionate. And don't even get me started on her singing. It was amazing. If I was ever sad or tired of school, she was there every day, no matter what. She made me laugh. We grew super close in middle school, and she was there when my dad was deported. I stuck with her, and I convinced her to come to IMS. We had a great freshman year together, and on our way to a great sophomore year. Little did I know, I was going to lose her too. Who would predict that the girl that gave me so much life would lose her own? It has been a terrible and traumatic experience, especially if you were in that room with her, seeing her draw her last breaths. I wonder what it was like, seeing God and Jesus, and what it must be like right now. But I was mad at God for taking her. We had plans, We were going to go off to college together and be roomies. She was super excited to graduate, and she had dreams that she shared with me. Why couldn't you wait, God? She didn't even get to live or experience what she wanted. I didn't even get to say goodbye. All I thought was, why not me? She impacted people with whatever she did, and she loved you with all her heart. She didn't have doubts, and she had goals to bring people to you. Why have you forsaken me? I had these questions, and maybe I still do, because it's hard waking up and realizing that the dreams I have of her are only going to be dreams because she's gone. But through all this pain and suffering I go through now, I still stand strong. Like Jesus, he went through a lot, but he kept the promise of taking our sin and still went through it and gave us a chance of eternal life. You may be going through something similar, and it may seem like you're stuck in pain, but like Jesus, he eventually had that paradise, and we have the choice of eternal life now. I still feel like the pain is too much sometimes, but I know that if I don't get the chance to be with my dad here and with my family together on earth, I will be with him up there. And I'll be with Teresa too. I will remain strong and keep fighting because in the end, I know it's worth it. Life doesn't just end here.